Is Boston has entered the chat. Yes, we have. Travis Thomas here with George Balekji inside the PNC Bank studios.
How we doing today, my man?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
I like the energy. I'm doing great. I love what we've seen has come down. And we got the news we're all going to cover it and all this. But
Yeah.
D. White going to the Olympics.
Ooh.
I think it's so interesting.
Oh.
I like his placement, but I wonder, was Jaylen Brown given like the courtesy of finals MVP, one of the best players in the league? Hey, can you do this? We'll get into it.
Oh,
I'm just excited to talk about it.
I see what you're doing, though. It's a beautiful
Celtics
tease.
watching Hard
Beautiful
Knocks.
tease by George there. 617-790-0928. If you want to join the chat, we are an interactive program. It's not just me and George up here bumping gums. We need to talk to you. We need to hear from you. 617-790-0928. You can also email us, the chat at nesson.com, of course, and you can always tweet us. We'll get to more of those later on, but let's start with what's trending.
Hold on, I want to take this one.
Okay.
Because what's trending topics?
Oh, I know where you're going.
We have one of your favorite athletes.
Oh, man.
One of your favorite families.
Oh.
And we've spoken about it before, literally on the last chat that dropped, right?
Yeah, I went off.
So we're both excited for NCAA football to come out and make its long-awaited return because we both love this video game.
With you so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Go on.
Okay. So obviously the big thing was Arch Manning actually promoting the game and agreeing to be in it, right? Just sign that little piece of paper. Here's a copy of the game. Here's your $600. You make $2 million a year in NIL. You're all set, bro. Thanks for coming on and agreeing to be in the game because he didn't want to agree on football, right? Yeah, it came out. A reporter from On3 Sports. Arch is getting $50 to $60K to promote the game. That's why it wasn't about football. It was about business. We're not talking practice. We're talking Benjamins. And that's what it was for Arch Manning and his family. 0% shocked. I was just like, yeah, dude, just do it. It's good for your image. Go ahead. No.
Yeah.
And now I'm coming around to you, Trav.
Yes.
Bro, you're making $2 million a year. You haven't played a down at Texas.
Talk.
That 50 to 60K, the video game doesn't even need Arch.
Preach.
Maybe get to that younger audience because it's been so long since it came out. But for that kid, no, I'm going to concentrate on football. No, it was whoever's agent is going, we're not putting him in that game until you give him 50 to 60K.
Talk about it. And it's not even the younger generation trying to get them in the game. They're going to play the game. The younger generation ain't thinking about no damn Arch Manning right now. They're all about Shedeur Sanders.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, like they don't give a damn about no Arch Manning. This was always about money, just like it always is. And that's what star players do. And that last name, I keep telling you, gives this guy the gumption to say, well, I'm not going to get what every other player gets. I mean, I'm a Manning. How dare ye, peasant? So, of course, he's going to want more money. He's going to want special treatment. And he got it. Congratulations. The Mannings just keep winning. I can't wait till there's more because you said there's even more Mannings coming. I can't wait. It's going to be stupendous. I can't wait for the rest of my career to cover all you Mannings out there. It's going to be fantastic. Just like I've had a blast covering Eli and Peyton and all you other losers. Now I got to get more of you.
They've won 4 Super Bowls.
They're like the Gremlins, these guys, these Mannings.
You know, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
It's nice to trigger you for once.
Because
you know how to get me.
I do.
F you.
I do. You say that Manning name, I start going off.
I found it. It's bad.
And I understand. I know I'm on an island. Everyone loves the Mannings. I get it. Not me. I'll be on the island. Thank you very much. I'm like Castaway with the Wilson volleyball talking to it by myself with a gnarly beard.
You want me to finish up what's trending?
Yeah, you might
I'll take
as well.
this next one.
Sure.
This is one you'll like.
All right.
It's official. Jason Tatum on the cover of 2K25.
A lot of video game talk here.
You see the 3 editions are coming out with? So Tatum's on the cover of the Standard. Him and Asia Wilson of the WNBA, the best player in the league, are on the cover of the All-Star edition.
I like it.
And then you have the Hall of Fame edition with Vince Carter.
Oh, I saw that. He's like gold. He's doing a dunk. That's pretty cool looking.
Now, Standard with Tatum, $70. All-Star, $100. Hall of Fame edition, $150. It comes with a 12-month pass, the league pass. That's really what it is.
I'll be honest. I think I'm going to end up getting the Standard edition, but I'm also not going to buy that game anywhere near the time when it comes out. I will still be knee-deep in college football dynasty mode, building Boston College to the national powerhouse that they should
Can't
be.
believe you do it, BC.
Yeah, Chestnut Hill is about to be up,
You
baby.
know what? It's an underdog. I like it.
What do you? I forget which one you're doing. I always make the joke that it's Rutgers, but I know it's not.
Washington State.
Oh my!
Boise State.
I would have liked Rutgers better.
I wouldn't do Rutgers. I'll take West Point for the peak. Oh yeah, I've done that many times. What I love about this though, back to Tatum
Wait,
and 2K.
I'm sorry. Why Washington State? Wasn't it the turf?
Yeah, it's a red turf. And it's just like you forget about them out there, the Cougars out in Pullman.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
you
why.
do. Yeah.
That's why.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Tatum, think about last month for Tatum. Hasn't
Yeah.
even been a full month.
Yeah.
Won your first NBA title before turning 27.
Check.
Got the largest contract in NBA history.
Discount double check.
Another dream coming true, being on the cover of 2K25.
Got a haircut.
Got a new addition. And also on the cover, the Tatum threes with Jordan.
Tatum new shoes.
They were a mix, too, of like Reebok's Shaqnosis
Yeah.
and the answer
Yep.
that AI had. Like it was a mix of the two. Actually, I like them
I like
a
them
lot.
too.
But I just think him being on this cover, too, it adds to it. It was predetermined. I was a person that pushed against it. I think it should be Anthony Edwards. Dude, let me take my hate away. I'm gonna be happy.
hate.
I'm gonna be happy for Tatum. And I love that the addition of Asia Wilson,
Yeah.
first WNBA athlete to be on the cover, reigning league MVP, back-to-back champion, back-to-back defensive player of the year, probably can get another MVP and maybe
Yeah.
another ring.
One of the GOATs.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One of the GOATs.
No doubt about it, best player in the WNBA.
And then
as well.
obviously we know Vince Carter in his entire career. He didn't get a ring, unfortunately, but he damn near did everything else that there is to do. So, of course, Vince Carter we respect as well.
Maybe
But-
the biggest blessing I had, real quick.
Yep.
Growing up watching Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, Richard Jefferson
Ooh, Nets.
in East Rutherford, VC3, man. I'll never forget.
Is Kenyon Martin on that team too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he
That
was.
was a good team.
I know. They made it to the finals.
Yeah, they did.
First basketball game I ever went to was Nets, Izod Center at the time.
Wow.
Those three played tremendous. I'll never forget, Jason Kidd airballed a three by accident. Vince Carter looked like a pass, came in. Yeah, just
That's
threw that thing down.
nasty. Who'd that team lose to? Did they lose to the Lakers in the finals?
2000.
Man.
2001. Yeah.
That team should have got a ring, but they ran into a juggernaut. That Laker team was a juggernaut.
Shaq and Kobe.
Right. If it's like looking at the Jordan era, like all the guys who didn't get rings
That
that
he
should have
kept
got
him out
rings.
of. Yeah,
that
Kobe-
Nets team
Kobe
should,
did that.
That's right. The Nets team should have got a ring. That's crazy. Well, congrats to Jason Tatum. At some point, I'll get around to playing 2K25 at some point. But for now, I'm going to concentrate on building Boston College into a powerhouse in
Best
a
of
college
luck.
football game.
Can't wait
Thank
to
you.
can't wait to see you in the Natty.
Yeah, good
with
luck out in the
Washington
middle
State.
of nowhere. And where are they? Pulliam, Washington? What's it called?
Pullman,
Washington?
on the prairie in Pullman, baby.
Jeez Louise.
Might as well be in Idaho at that point.
I guarantee the kids I recruit are coming to Chestnut Hill and not to the middle of nowhere, Washington.
You know, it'd be tough to beat in recruitment, taking the recruits to Chinatown. Get the best food
Yes.
in the city, in my
Fa-
opinion.
okay,
I'm being
facts.
actual here.
Facts. All right. How about this? You teased it at the top of the show. Derrick White replacing Kawhi Leonard on Team USA. Let's break this down from two parts. Obviously, we'll get all into the Celtics angles with Derrick White, no Jaylen Brown. But I want to start with Kawhi. So all the reports were that he actually did look good, and he was mending from his knee injuries.
Didn't
right?
miss a practice or scrimmage.
He looked good. All the reports were that he looked good. But then, I saw, and I don't know if this is official, but I saw reports basically saying that the Clippers had concerns of like, listen, man, like, we get it. You're getting healthy, but they have a new arena.
Yep.
They are the Clippers. They do have expectations, even with losing Paul George. But maybe even because you lose Paul George, it's compounded now.
Yeah.
What you need from Kawhi. Conversations were had. Teams cannot, I guess, legally prevent you from playing on Team USA. But clearly, they do have some influence here, regardless of what happened, which is what I want to talk about. Because I think the Clippers did get involved.
They
But
1000% did.
regardless of what happened, Kawhi is off of Team USA. Derrick White is in. What is your theory on the Kawhi thing? Do you believe that the Clippers, like I do, got involved and said, look, I'm glad that he's looking good. Let's just rest and get ready for the season, Kawhi?
It's a rule. teams cannot prevent
They can't
their
prevent
players
you.
from
Yes.
playing for the team.
That's right.
He went, participated in every practice and scrimmage.
Yep.
But this is a guy that his knee soreness and inflammation acting up on his bad knee is what kept him out of the end of the regular season
That's
and
right.
in the playoffs. So I bet it is the team touch base. Again, this was in Vegas, not
Yeah.
far from LA.
Yeah.
Can fly out the doctors, evaluate it, and talk to him and be like, Kawhi, you can't do this.
This has been a few seasons,
It is your
too.
choice, and they give him the scenarios, and who knows how truthful the doctors were. They could have came in and only given him the worst case scenario because
Right.
they're looking out for themselves. Because it was ultimately said to be a decision between Leonard and Team USA.
Right.
But think about the players involved in Team USA. It is Grant Hill that picks the team. And obviously there are NBA coaches, Steve Kerr, Tyronn Lue, Eric Spoelstra, Mark Few, college coach and all that. But there are NBA powers involved in this where they go to him of, you run your knee into the ground in these Olympics, you're going to play these games, these minutes. Man, you got this many years left. Who knows how many years left in the league with the way you play too.
Yeah.
And maybe people are genuine with them. Like, you've done it. You've played for Team USA before. Not worth it. Like, this team's going to be fine without you, obviously.
Yeah. Right.
That's what it's just the risk not worth the reward. He's already got 2 rings. Defensive Player of the Year. He's one of the all-time greats to play. Just there's a big what if because his injuries did take away from what could have been an all-time career and him and just like all-time players.
Yeah, one of the GOATs.
But his achievements are there. That's what I
Yeah.
think it is. It's big picture for Kawhi.
I think it's over. I think big picture, it's over anyway. This is not
Yeah.
a one season thing that if this is true, what we think that the Clippers are like, hey, man, we got to be extra cautious with you. This isn't like he just got hurt this season. Since he has arrived there in L.A., he has had injury issues. So I am sure they are thinking of all the things George said in terms of the future. And it is the right move. I think the Clippers are making the right move here. And I do, effectively, as I want to transition to Derrick White, I just want to say I think it's over for Kawhi Leonard. I do not believe he will get back to being an elite, dominant player in this league again. I had been holding out hope, there in L.A. I thought that he and Paul George and James Harden eventually would all figure it out and get healthy at the right time. It has not happened, and Kawhi has been a big reason why. He's been the main one who hasn't been healthy in that equation. And I just don't believe now without Paul George that all of a sudden he's going to be healthy and turn back into the Superman we once saw. I think it's over for Kawhi.
It's going to be a bigger load on him.
That's right.
Who
More
knows if he
pressure.
can make it through. And I think there is 2 parts to this too with Team USA. Like, you see how good Wemby is with France? You see Canada's lineup?
Right.
See the defenders they got?
Right.
Bro, Serbia,
Yeah.
Jokic.
Yep.
I think it's also Team USA stepping in like we're not messing around. That is actually a valued spot in this.
Yeah.
The whole roster, there's no gimme. There isn't that young rook or that young college player. It's like, hey, just ride the pine. Maybe to me, I look at it, Tyrese Halliburton maybe, but it's everyone has their role. And Kawhi, that is a significant role, what he brings on both ends of the floor. I think part of it too is Team USA stepping in and going, we have to make this decision now.
Yeah.
Because midway through the Olympics, if your knee acts up again, we got to replace you. No, it's too late.
Yeah.
We need to make this decision now. We got to replace you with somebody. We got to bring in someone healthy like Derrick White.
Okay, with that being said, Derrick White, I have no problem with him getting the call. I have questions, which we'll get to. But Derrick White, my theory is this, of why he was picked over some others. It's not just Jaylen Brown. There's some other people who could have got this call. My theory on Derrick White is simple. Obviously, he's a winner. Obviously, a champion. He's been a role player for tons of winning teams. But I also think that some of it is he's not ball dominant, A. He's also going to get along with and get in with all these guys. There's not going to be team chemistry issues. He's not going to show up with a chip on his shoulder thinking, well, I should have been here anyways. Why did Kawhi have to get hurt for you to give me a call? Some guys could show up with that kind of attitude, make it all about me, me, me. That is not Derrick White. And I also think this team's so damn good, and some of those teams you mentioned are true contenders against Team USA.
Oh, yeah.
But some of these other teams are going to get their ass kicked by Team USA.
Yeah.
And so I say that to say there are so many stars on this team, playing time could be an issue. So why would you want to bring a star in who may not play a ton of minutes, and then you're going to hear the complaints? Whereas a Derrick White, if he plays a ton of minutes, he's communal. He's all about the team. He'll let the game come to him. He'll make the right basketball play. So from a basketball standpoint, it makes sense. But also, if he doesn't play much, he's not going to rock the boat. He's not going to cause any issues. There's not going to be any soundbite that now all of a sudden Steve Kerr and that coaching staff has to address because Derrick White said, well, I mean, I can only play when I'm in the game. You know, he's not going to do any of that. He's just going to kind of play his role, and that's some of my theory of why he was chosen. Is that unfair of me to think?
For Jaylen Brown's side, yes.
Okay.
Because what did he do all season? You even brought up he's not going to ball hog. I mean, the whole system the Celtics run is catch it, know your next move.
Let the game
Don't
come to
beat
you.
it down in.
That's right.
Search for those good shots. Yours will come around.
Yeah.
And for Jaylen Brown, we could say whatever the dynamic is and how he's gone out of his way since they won the finals. And he was named MVP to mention Tatum every time. I couldn't do it without him.
That's
My brother,
right.
all this, the path they went through. But you never heard, and we would have heard it anyway.
Yeah.
If stuff came out about Jaylen being a guy that's egotistical in the Celtics locker room while they're going on this title run, and that never happened. In a way, the selflessness that he showed in this finals run, and ever since he got that max extension, becoming the best defender on the team, there's Drew Holiday too, but him being the best defender, doing whatever it takes for the team to win. It wasn't a ton of shots, but all-around game from him. This was a guy that shot very poorly from three in the Eastern Conference and Finals, still won MVP of both, and was their best, most consistent player all throughout. And even put out the tweet with like that monocle emoji of thinking like, what happened here? So before we get into what that tweet can be, when Kawhi went down and the replacement was Derrick White, I go, when you lose Kawhi, you lose size, physicality, defense, high IQ.
Oh, yeah.
What you get with Derrick White, you don't get the same size. He's only 6'4".
Right.
You get physicality,
You get
strength,
defense.
You get really good defense, and you still get high IQ basketball, smart with taking shots, and a really good shooter, right? But when you think of, all right, so you got 4 out of those 5 boxes checked by D. White. Jaylen Brown checks 5 out of the 5.
Yeah, he does.
Whatever it is. Literally size and can defend.
Yeah.
It brings more versatility to your lineups on both ends. I think Jaylen Brown, if you replace Kawhi Leonard with Jaylen Brown, this team's better than it was before.
Sure.
And Jaylen Brown was named one of the finalists. Keep in mind, Grant Hill is the guy that names his team, decides who's on it. He was one of the finalists, along with much lesser names.
Is there something there? Grant Hill and Jaylen Brown?
There has to be some politics in this. I wonder, what was the courtesy played? Was it Kawhi goes down, you make a quick phone call? Is it literally, I don't know how it goes. Do you call Jaylen Brown? Doesn't pick up. All right, call Derrick White. But you don't give Jaylen Brown that courtesy of returning the call. And Jaylen Brown, I don't know where he's at this moment or when it went down.
I think he's overseas.
He was in the Middle East. Yeah, he was going to Mecca, him and Taco Fall.
Yeah.
He was in the Middle East. So that time difference, Vegas is 3 hours behind Boston.
Yeah.
The Middle East, depending where he is, 7 to 8 hours ahead. An 11-hour difference with phone calls and all that. I just wonder, what is that courtesy that you pay to the Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, the second, arguably the best player on one of the best teams in NBA history. It's not a Celtics thing because Drew and Jason Tatum are already on it.
Right.
And that's what I wonder too. When it comes to the dynamics, who's calling the shots? Who is it? I think it's LeBron. I think it's KD. I think Kevin Durant would get along, would want to play with Jaylen Brown. But you also understand, then it goes into the dynamic. Bringing Derrick White, he'll play the role. Because that's what I wonder. What was Kawhi's role? It's not Kawhi of the old. How many minutes was he going to play?
Right.
And this comes into you, so I'm coming around to you. Derrick White would come in, let's say play 12, 15 minutes a game. Do the assignments Kawhi would. He's a smaller defender, but do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Take 3, 4, 6 shots a game, whatever.
Get out of there.
And he'd be fine with
That's
it.
what I
While
think.
Jaylen Brown's like, I'm coming all the way to Vegas. I'm going all the way to Abu Dhabi, and now I'm going to spend all this time in Paris, and I'm only playing these many minutes. Maybe because of his stature and what he's earned. And if he had those complaints, I'd be like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Be one of the best players on this team. So maybe there's a dynamic, a power dynamic, and politics that comes into it. I just wonder what the process is of replacing. Was it Grant Hill that made the call? Does he consult, and I believe he does, with LeBron, with KD,
I would think
with
so.
Steph?
And by the way, this wasn't I don't think this was a decision that had to be made with haste. Although I do agree with what you said.
They're playing
Team
Canada
USA
tonight.
wasn't messing around with this. Let's get ahead of this and make a change. But I don't think this was a Kawhi goes down in practice. Oh snap!
No.
What do we do? There was clearly some conversations that were being had behind the scenes about if Kawhi was even going to do this. Again, just speculating. I'm sure the Clippers were involved in some of these conversations. So I'm guessing Grant Hill and the Brain Trust had a runway in terms of making this decision. By the way, the Jaylen Brown tweet that you referenced, we have it here. After the Derrick White news was announced, here's the emojis. I mean, I don't know. I'll say this. You know, you and I sound like we're in lockstep for Derrick White being the kind of get in where you fit in guy. He's going to go with the flow. He's not going to rock the boat. But with that being said, I mean, you go up and down this roster, George. Just the optics. Stay with me here. Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Booker, Steph Curry, AD, Anthony Edwards, KD, Tyrese Halliburton, Joel Embiid, Bam, LeBron. These are stars. Derrick White. But then when you say all these names, you know, Book, Steph, AD, all of them, and Jaylen Brown, you're like, okay. So that, you know, that part sort of rubs me the wrong way too. If you're going to do this, why not sing Cooper Flag at this point? I'm just saying, like, if it's not about a star and it's just coming in to fill a role, go get the kid. Let him get some experience.
Or get someone young like Paolo Banchero.
Or get Paolo Banchero, who could also play defense. By the way, Paolo was a finalist. I heard Jimmy Butler.
Derrick
and then
White,
smaller guys. Brunson. Now you're talking,
now,
you know.
Now let's get into basketball.
Kyrie.
Derrick White, vastly better shooter than Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, and Paolo Banchero.
Sure.
Better defender. Kyrie should not be on this roster because you have to replace defense and strength, and you can't get that with Kyrie. Now, if they brought in a guy like Trae Young, then you're really messing with the whole core.
I would
and
rather
the
have
chemistry.
a bigger body.
Because Trae Young will come in and go, "I'm going to get my 20 shots up a game. I don't care."
I'm with
that
you.
Wouldn't work.
I'm in the Paolo Butler. Jaylen Brown. And Derrick White.
I don't care. I don't care. Homerism in this, I don't care. To me, it was Derrick White, good fit. My mind automatically went to why not Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
You're listing these names, and I get it. These are finalists from the team and stuff. Derrick White is a better fit than a Trae Young or Kyrie Irving, what he brings on both ends of the floor. Jalen Brunson, I am the biggest Jalen Brunson fan. Absolute dog, small guard.
And ball dominant.
You need defense to come in.
Yep.
Paul George, I could see. Because this is a new Paul George.
Yeah.
But again, if you're talking about health, he just played 74 games. That's a career high in the last 5 years.
Right.
Stay away from that. What are you going to bring in? James Harden? Duncan Robinson?
Hell no.
Bobby Portis? Chet?
No.
The ones I would fly with would be, if it wasn't Derrick White, I think it should have been Jaylen Brown. But if it's not Jaylen Brown, it's Derrick White. I just can't wait to hear the details of how it went down. Because that's what's fascinating to me.
Will we, though? Will we hear the details?
I think so.
You think?
It will. Jaylen Brown doesn't mess around, man. Like, he won't tweet out something, state your source. It's Stephen A. He listens.
Well, that's what I mean.
He's smart.
That's why
he knows the weight that stuff carries.
My theory is they went with Derrick White because he's less of a headache. And I think it's a direct shot at Jaylen Brown. And that's why you got that tweet.
It's just
because
he's
Jaylen Brown knows it. I don't think he is.
But it's a lot of alphas.
Yes.
And Kawhi to that, he's an alpha on the court, behind closed doors, whatever type of leader he is and demands a ball.
Quiet. Yeah. He's almost too quiet.
Yeah.
Right?
Where Jalen's a bigger personality.
That's right.
More of a mother effer, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like, more of a dog wants a ball. And I think Derrick White falls into line with the Kawhi personality.
Completely agree. What say you? 617-790-0928. Hit us up on the Boston has entered the chat hotline. Let us know what you think of Derrick White replacing Kawhi on Team USA. You can also email us, the chat at nesson.com. And then, hey, we showed Jaylen Brown's tweet, but the fans also started tweeting after this Derrick White announcement came. So let's get to these as well. Imagine being the Finals MVP
and Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
And Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and 3 of your teammates make it, and you don't.
Drew's been on an Olympic team before. Him and Tatum played together on that 2020 team. Drew went right from the NBA title. The delayed 2020 games happened in 2021. Went right from that title with the Bucks, got on a plane, and went to Beijing and won a gold medal. So Drew on this Olympic team doesn't surprise me.
Wow.
But yes, Derrick White over Jaylen does.
Next one. I love this one. This is Derrick White rocking the Team USA hat. This is from Ryan tweeting us. And he's got the jacked up grill from the playoffs when he met. I love it.
You know what Derrick White can do, man? Oh, no, it's in Paris, but they're playing in Abu Dhabi. He gets some good hair transplant over there for really cheap.
Nah, bro. He finally came home.
He came home.
And shaved that head. You leave that man alone. We love having him in the Bald Brotherhood. He should have been there a long time ago, but that's another topic for another podcast. Here's another one. Here, this is, I can never read these, George. I'm too far away. But basically, it's showing all the teams saying, hey, Kawhi, come help us. And then Kawhi's in a full body cast.
It's a SpongeBob meme, yeah.
And then Derrick White saying, hey, guys, I'll join you. So there you go.
DY fits it, man. He doesn't care about anything, doesn't care about getting the spotlight, nothing like that, and just will show up and ball.
Yeah.
Media tour, none of that. He doesn't care about.
All right. Now, I love the way you took over when we did What's Trending at the top of the show. I'm going to need to lean on you here because I am reading all kinds of snippets from this article on Wyc Grousbeck. Then I also saw him on TV talking about what shares he has, what shares his dad has on the Celtics. I am lost. George, I have gone cross-eyed with this Celtics ownership conversation because it went from, okay, who's going to be the next owner to, well, it's just a portion of it to, well, actually my dad has all of it. Now it's, well, we're going to sell a little bit now and then a little bit more in a couple years and then eventually. George, you've been following this thing like an investigative reporter. Can you at least translate to me what the hell is going on here? What's up with Wyc? What does he own? Is he selling? What do we have?
It turns out, and I want to give shout out to Dan Shaughnessy, the institution, one of the greatest sports reporters that has ever been, still doing his work for the Boston Globe, but that guy is a legend here in Boston. And I love what he did. He did the simple thing of emailing Irv Grousbeck, as he put on bostonglobe.com, texting Wyc Grousbeck to get the details out of this. But this is snippets from his article on Boston Globe. In conversations with some sources close to the situation, I've come away, this is Dan Shaughnessy speaking and writing, I've come away convinced that soon-to-be 90-year-old Irving Grousbeck is the one driving this sale, and 63-year-old son Wyc, managing partner, governor, and CEO of the Celtics, and always identified as the team's owner, actually owns a relatively small stake in the franchise. Then he adds, when I texted Wyc, you okay if I say your personal stake in the team is less than 2%?
Wow.
He answered, we hold as a family, all unified. We are a family. And I also have a Celtics family. That is my comment. Thanks.
So he didn't answer.
But he didn't deny that he owns less than 2%.
Right.
He didn't say, don't share, I own less than 2%.
Right.
So it's a Grousbeck family, and Irv was always the money. I think grew up in Worcester, was very, very successful in cable television business, keeping it very simple here. And I think the best part of this, he emailed Irv Grousbeck, who's teaching business at Stanford Business, 90 years old.
Wow.
Imagine owning one of the most popular sports franchises in the world, but just like I'm in Palo Alto, wherever it is,
You're
right?
grading papers.
I'm over at Stanford. Yeah, like I'm just teaching class. I don't care. I tried looking up Irv Grousbeck. You don't find any interviews sooner than 6 years ago. And it was like public speaking of him sharing his knowledge.
Huh.
And Irving Grousbeck, still teaching at Stanford Business, has been the money behind the group since the beginning. He's talking about 2002.
Yeah.
They list his net worth around $1.8 billion. I found different numbers. There's every indication that the billionaire, rarely seen at Celtics games, is motivating this sale in an attempt to get his affairs in order. I emailed the elder Grousbeck late Wednesday requesting comments on my assertions, and he responded Thursday with a polite no comment. He reached out to Steve Pagliuca, who we know is the next biggest owner next to the Grousbecks. Pag said, I signed an NDA. I can't comment on anything.
Wow.
So the layers to this is really interesting because Wyc was the owner. We all knew it. Wyc's the owner. Pagliuca's there.
Yeah.
We know the smaller guys.
The face.
The smaller players. There's Pagliuca. There's Robert Hale. Very successful businessman here in Boston as well. But Wyc is the one that sits courtside. Wyc is the one that gets the Larry O'Brien trophy and touches it first. Wyc is the one that takes a photo with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Feels like the face.
Wyc is the hero of Boston for going all in on the team. The way I take this, that Wyc's actual stakes are less than 2%. His whatever family owns the most shares is the ultimate deciding and driver and decision maker of the team.
Right.
Irv, or the Grousbecks, however they put it, they're probably really smart where he didn't put it all under his name.
Right.
Bought it under his family's name. So I bet there's like tax stuff he's getting around. Irv is the biggest player. He runs a team. I wouldn't be surprised if Wick, that was his full-time job, day-to-day, be the owner of the team. And when he needed to make a phone call, hey, we're going to give Jaylen the Supermax.
Right.
Hey, we're going to trade for Drew, and we're going to have to pay him.
So he's running the day-to-day.
And he's calling, and Irving's the bank.
Yeah.
He is the guy that gives him the credit card.
Right.
That's fine. You're going to do it. Okay. And bought in 2002 for $360 million, valued from $4 to $5 to $6 billion right now. Irv Grousbeck at 90 years old is seeing the writing on the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
Sees the value of this gone up for the team.
Yep.
Feels like the Celtics are maxed out, and you don't have to pay Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, and Derrick White all together until the 2025-2026 season.
Right.
He's going, you're selling now.
Yeah.
And I bet Wick is against it. And then I watched the Wick on CNBC interview.
Yeah. So I saw that interview. I still didn't make any sense of it.
Some key quotes. I want to clarify. It's not my majority stake. Control of the team is owned by my family.
Okay.
So it's a family I belong to, and then the Celtics family I belong to.
He keeps going back to that. That's a talking point, clearly.
There's an intersection and involvement. We've been involved 22 years, discussions and thoughts, 22 years of estate planning and family planning. Irv bought the team as an investment. He's a very successful businessman.
Yeah.
And good for him investing in the team, letting his son and Steve Pagliuca make a lot of pivotal decisions to bring 2 rings to this team. And now he's going, I'm 90 years old. I'm going to give it to you guys. This is estate planning. Whenever I pass, whatever it will, not to get crazy morbid here, but like that's part of it.
Yeah. Well,
we got to get our
90.
stuff in line.
Right.
Exactly. So then Wick said, sell the team in 2 parts, 51% going fairly soon, 49% closing in a second closing in 2028. I'm expecting to stay on until 2028.
Jeez.
We're hiring bankers and advisors, and this will be quite a bidding process.
See, that suggests you're going to go to the highest bidder, which I don't love.
That's Irv Grousbeck being a businessman.
Yeah.
So I'm going to separate it, man. I'm going to separate it.
Right.
Where if my parents were sitting on something like this, let's say a house, whatever, went up in value, they go, hey, we could pass it down to you and you have no mortgage.
Right.
Or we could sell it for insane amount of value compared to what we bought it for.
Yeah.
But guess what? When we sell it, it's yours. I'll be like, it's your guys.
Yeah.
That's what Irv's doing. He goes, look, it's been great. I understand, Wick, you love it. I love it too. It's awesome what we did for the city. But he's a businessman at heart. Mm-hmm. And you know what? He ran the business beautifully. Mm-hmm. He brought 2 rings. Mm-hmm. They went to how many finals? 4.
Right.
2 parades. Ended that long drought.
It makes sense to cash out now.
And then Wick goes, family decision, estate and family planning consideration. That speaks. That says it. It's a family. Been in a long time, some point. Blah, blah. You can find someone else. So, he's like, you can find someone else come in with energy, want to find the right buyer. That takes out the Pagliuca getting that friendly deal, which I don't blame him. What was big was this one snippet where they're talking about Pagliuca and his decision-making and everything he's done for the team. Pags is the one who made the idea to hire Danny Ainge, who wound up being the genius to acquire Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, then Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Brad Stevens, and Joe Mazzulla.
Wow.
Pagliuca came in with a great ton of decision-making.
So give him a homeboy discount so he can buy your team.
I bet he's doing his stuff behind, but no. There's
He's
no
not
homeboy
going
discount.
to. That last quote you said where he was like, I expect this bidding process to be, I mean, that suggests to me he's going to take this to market and get the highest bid.
We have bankers. We have investors. We're smart business people.
Yep.
We're venture capitalists.
Yep.
We're going to have the smartest people on the business side help us get the value.
Wow.
Because then you let it go out for a bid. Right. Forbes values them $4.7 billion to $5 billion. They go out and bid. The Suns were just bought for $4 billion.
That's right.
I'm sorry. The Celtics are a much more valuable brand than the Suns, let alone with all the success.
What's the bidding start at?
Exactly.
I mean,
4. It's 5.
I think you want 4.7? I'm saying north.
Here's 5. Well, yeah.
I'm saying 5, baby. Come on.
Here, I got something for
Can
you.
I get a 6? Can I get a 6 and a half? 7.5.
Steve Pagliuca is worth $3.8 to $4.8 billion.
Yeah.
All right. Let's say Steve Cohen owns the Mets, worth $20 billion. I'll give you $5 billion. But you know what? Rob Walton, who owns the Broncos, $77 billion.
That Walmart money?
I'll give you 6. Then there's Jeff Bezos.
Oh, he'd straight cash.
215, and that's how it's going to go.
Straight cash.
That's how it's going to go.
Oh my God.
Pagliuca's probably doing his thing, reaching out to investors, getting a fund together. The same thing. They have this LLC. Hey, I'll be the face of it, but help back me. You get percentages, and trust me, it'll be a good business move. Because the NBA is only getting more and more valuable.
If I'm Bezos or one of those other cats with all the money, I would partner with Pagliuca.
That is not a bad idea.
Right? Because you can fund whatever. And then he's already in the trenches and knows what to do, running the day-to-day. He becomes Wick.
Interview Wick.
He becomes Wick.
What did Steve do? Give us your valuation of Steve. Wick gives him all this credit.
Yeah.
Because, again, the more these shares sell for, the better off for the growth specs. And if Wick comes in and goes, Steve is a guy, you should back him.
Right.
Tap him as a one to run the team day-to-day. And then they figure out, obviously, Steve Pagliuca would have to buy some shit and all that. Let's not get into the minutia.
But then
that happens.
This is like a show my wife watches called Succession. It's just like rich people just passing down rich people things within their family. It's insane.
It's amazing where Wick, we thought he was the guy this whole time.
Yeah.
Less than 2%.
That's crazy.
But I have less than 2% of the shares that my family does. Yeah.
Right.
Irv is out in Stanford teaching class.
Crazy.
I don't know the story of the rest of his family. Very private family, even Wick. And Wick's been great. Like, goes into the media, does the interviews, gets out in front of it. We're local guys. We care about the team. Like, very, very, very good sports team owner.
Right.
But the reason he carried himself the way he did was, I only have 2%, but I'm responsible for this 51.
That's right.
And my dad, he's the bank. He writes the check. He gives me the credit card. But I'm the one that has a risk of my family's worth in this one.
Man.
Just to find out less than 2%, he didn't deny it. And it's just what Wick was doing, did an awesome job. Awesome job as a governor of the team now, we have to say.
Right.
But put his all into it. Because other side of it, you could go, I got 2% of this. Cool, it's the Celtics. They run, let's go, and just have fun with it. He was all in, man. But that also detail about Steve Pagliuca. I love your idea. Bezos, whoever. Go to Pags.
Whoever's got the
We want
cheese.
you to stay.
That's right.
Let's level you up.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can invest with us. You invest with our group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen, I've said this to you several times, sometimes in jest, sometimes serious, that if this doesn't work out, you should have a front office job in sports because that stuff fascinates you so much. But as I've seen you attack this Celtics owner story, I actually think you should just be a lawyer because I got to tell you something. I mean, you get to the bottom of that. Like, you're an animal. Like, you're not messing around. You get to the bottom of this stuff. Because I got lost. I'm not going to lie. I'm losing track of stakes and shareholders and billions and who and how many percentages. You've got to the bottom of this quickly, sir.
Well, shout out Dan Shaughnessy and his reporting
Facts.
on that.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law is a lawyer. He dated my sister all throughout law school. They met undergrad, dated throughout grad school. They're married now.
So you know the inside.
Dude, he's like, you could be a lawyer. I go, I can't do that schooling.
Oh, the school aspect.
The one thing, I love confrontation. I got no problem with that. So I'd like being a lawyer for that.
Don't I know it? Deal with it every day. For more from George and I, check us out on Foxborough Rush.
All those press conferences I was in with Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you would ask follow-ups, so you weren't scared. Where we talk all things Patriots. Check us out on Nesson's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you get your podcast. And make sure you follow us on all your social media accounts for all of our best content while we're talking Patriots, GB. Did you see? I have not watched the newest episode of Hard Knocks, but I know you did. And I did see the clip circulating where the Giants brought in Drake Maye during the pre-draft analysis, if you will, and all the interviews. And they were just trying to get him all jammed up with play calling. Brian Dable was doing the interviewing, all kinds of play calling. Go draw this up on the board, recite this, recall this play. And Drake Maye nails it. I saw another clip with Jaden Daniels, who the Commanders ended up taking before Drake, where he did fine, but he didn't do as good as Drake Maye did. So now, apparently in this episode, which you can explain to me, but I guess the Giants were trying to trade up to get Drake Maye, and obviously that was not going to happen because the Patriots took him.
Yeah, it was. You see them going through these quarterback interviews, and then it cuts to Joe Shane talking to Elliott Wolf up in his suite. So this is what happens at the Combine, too.
All these guys hang out.
A lot of insider info and a lot of deals are made. And basically, they were so blown away by Drake Maye in his interview, which he did fantastic in.
Yeah.
Where Brian Dable throws a play call his way. He repeats it right back to him. Then he asks some questions, basically quizzing him, asked him what Tundra stands for, and Drake Maye knew it right away. He's like, that's 2 under, knew in this defense what to do with a throw and all that. Was just very confident, drawing it up, repeating it back to him. And it was him and Dable going back at it, which, again, I said it to you. I'm like, when they get into the draft evaluation, it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
Him and Dable, you see the genius of Dable, but then you see the retention and the way Drake Maye absorbs it.
Sure.
And then it cuts to Joe Shane talking to Elliot Wolf. Look. You don't have to tell us your full plan. But if you're going to move from 3, give us a heads up. Basically, Joe Shane saying, if you're going to trade back from 3, let us know. We want to at least make you an offer.
Yeah.
And that was because of Drake Maye.
Wow.
And to the point of Jaden Daniels, you see the confidence from Drake Maye, where the question with him was his literal delivery. It's a longer windup than Jaden Daniels. His footwork, but that's fixable. And I've said it, to me, it's his processing. Processing is being on the field, but his IQ as a player was never in question. What got me was Dable doing the same thing with Jaden Daniels, like flipping a lot of stuff around.
Trying to trick him, right?
And then he goes, okay, we do this. Everything's flipped. Here's a coverage. What do you do? And Jaden Daniels goes, throw a touchdown. And Dable's like, I like that answer, but I saw that. I'm like, that's not a good answer.
Right. He didn't know the answer.
Exactly.
So your default is throw a touchdown, which is not a terrible default, by the way.
When
it didn't appear. Look, I didn't watch the episode, so what the hell do I know? But the clip I saw, it didn't seem like Jaden Daniels did terrible or struggled. It just seemed like Drake Maye did better, quite frankly. But look, at the end of the day, George, like, you know, anyone can go up there and draw plays on a whiteboard. What does a tape say? And I'll be honest with you, both Jaden Daniels and Drake Maye are better than Daniel Jones. How's that sound? So I understand the Giants wanting to move up to take either one of them because Lord knows what they have in their building is trash, and they're paying way too much money to it, and I think they know it. But for now, they're stuck with that contract.
And, well, they addressed it too. Like, we know we're our Daniel coming off a torn ACL.
Ugh.
And let's remind people, if the Giants cut Daniel Jones right now, they'll have to pay him $21 million on top of the $42
Goodness
for him
gracious.
to not play football for him.
Nah.
If they wait till next year and cut him, they save $19 million on the cap, A. B, remember the draft reports after coming out that the Patriots were listening for every possibility.
Yep.
We will trade back from 3. We will stick at 3. We're going to do what's best for the team.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Vikings, one of the best play callers in the game. Brian Dable, head coach of the Giants, a really good play caller, been around a lot of good quarterbacks. Them wanting to trade up for 3 for Drake Maye, that got the Patriots to go, wait a second. They see something in this kid.
That's right.
That's just being smart.
Yeah.
Let's stick in. Let's take him.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, too, I think that I'm excited to see from Drake Maye's development here is everything that you said, because obviously now we get this glimpse and this snippet that mentally he's sharp, and we've all seen interviews with him at this point. Like, you can watch him for 2 seconds and see that the kid is smart. But I do want to see the things that you're saying, those fundamental footwork, taking snaps from under center, which he had never done prior to now. Those small nuanced things that Drake Maye needs to develop. I'm looking forward to that because I personally don't believe it takes forever for those things to come around. I still contend that we're going to get all kinds of stories out of training camp, we'll see flashes in preseason that Drake Maye is more ready than some of us think to play sooner than some of us think. And I'm talking directly to you, George Balekji.
Look, man, if he gets ready early, as long as that offensive line can protect him.
Fair. You have been consistent with that.
That's my thing.
You
I
don't
want
mind
him to
if he
regress.
comes in
I
early.
don't want him to regress.
Right. That's fair.
Because then they're in the same place in 3 to 4 years. Of
You've been consistent with that.
You know what? Watching that, though, you know what I can't wait for?
What?
When Hard Knocks comes to New England.
Oh.
Come on. Robert Kraft seeing the buzz around Drake Maye this behind the scenes.
Yeah. And you know that would have never happened before.
Gerard, it's your first year. You're fine.
Yeah.
Next year, if they call.
I think you're right, dude.
And HBO and the producers, too, seeing the excitement around Drake Maye. And as this season builds up, how good he is, how charismatic he is when he starts playing. And it'll be a fascinating storyline next year. What do they do with the top pick? What does Drake Maye do? Does he make that second-year jump as a full-time starter and all of that? And, of course, Tom Brady, New England,
right.
All of that.
Not just that. Netflix. I mean, you might as well build some state-of-the-art studios right here in New England. I mean, we know you love the Red Sox. Don't forget about that coming out. They're following the Red Sox as we speak, baby. And then you could do Hard Knocks on the Patriots next season.
They pivot into quarterback season 2 with Drake Maye.
With Drake Maye in it.
Something's going to come the Patriots' way.
Come on, Netflix.
It's an evolution of
baby.
Belichick gone. They're going to open up either way. Robert Kraft knows what he's doing.
Absolutely.
And Jonathan Kraft and Robin Glazer. I always have to work those names in, too.
Facts. You always got to get that in there. All right, that's it for us here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Here in the PNC Bank studio, Travis Thomas, George Balekji. And remember, for all of our best content of the day, make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Till next time on Boston Has Entered the Chat, we'll see you then. Peace.
Later.